This week, the Trump administration revealed its proposal to overhaul America's immigration system. The proposal would not, by itself, build the often promised wall on our southern border, nor would it cut current levels of immigration, despite the fact that most Americans would like to see that happen. The one big thing the administration's proposal would do is give priority to immigrants who might actually help America, skilled workers with English proficiency. It's hard to see an argument against a system like that. There isn't really an argument against that system. For years, Democrats have argued that immigrants make vital additions to our economy. They're smarter than we are. They're harder working. They do better in school. They found more companies. Well, the president has decided to take Democrats at their word. He says he wants all of those good things that immigrants bring. Watch.
We want immigrants coming in. We cherish the open door that we want to create for our country. But a big proportion of those immigrants must come in through merit and skill.
Well, much of the world would move here if they could, hundreds and hundreds of millions of people. So why wouldn't we pick the absolute best? Immigrants with skills and English would fit in better here. Their kids would do better in school. They'd be more likely to contribute to social programs instead of draining them. So are Democrats rejoicing in this change? Of course not. They're outraged. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke for the party when she declared that really merit is a bad word because everybody has merit.
I want to just say something about the word that they use, merit. It is really a condescending word. Are they saying family is without merit? Are they saying most of the people who have ever come to the United States in the history of our country are without merit because they don't have an engineering degree? Certainly, we want to attract the best in our to our country, and that includes many people from many parts of society.
What a shame we can't staff the Democratic caucus in the Congress using the same criteria the Speaker would like to fill our country. We want to attract the best from many parts of the world, she says, but of course by that Pelosi doesn't mean what she says. She means just the opposite. Because what exactly is best about immigrants who have criminal records or middle school educations or no ability to hold a job? The answer is there's nothing best about that. Immigrants like that might be nice people, but they're much more likely to burden the United States than to benefit, at least economically. Harvard doesn't admit students who can't speak English. It says so right on their website. So why should our country? The left doesn't want to answer questions like that or even have the conversation. Shut up, racist! Instead, they just declare that the current system is great. No evidence necessary. Watch this former Obama official make her fact-free case on MSNBC yesterday.
What's less obvious is that medium and even the least skilled immigrants also contribute to the U.S. economy. They come in and they do different things from natives, and they allow everyone to specialize more in what they're doing best. It's that contribution of the unskilled immigrants that I think people overlook when they really push the so-called merit-based or as it's called in other countries, the point system.
So what Professor Hunt and so many on the left, including the Speaker of the House, are arguing for is a feudal system where foreign-born worker bees toil to support a smug and pampered managerial class, of which they, of course, are part. There's no other explanation for our current policies. We don't need more low-skilled workers in the United States. We have plenty of low-skilled workers. Their unemployment rate is higher than the national average. Their wage growth has been abysmal for decades, generations. So how do those workers benefit from having more competition? Of course, they don't. How does the country benefit by having more low-skilled workers when technological changes may soon render millions of them permanently jobless? The answer, of course, is that we won't benefit. But for the left, whether the country benefits is not the point. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, herself a symbol of America's failed immigration system, if there ever was one, someone who hates this country, coming here at public expense, spent yesterday demanding the abolition of ICE, the decriminalization of illegal immigration itself, and an end to all deportation programs. She demands open borders, the unlimited arrival of anyone who wants to come to America, whether they have anything to contribute or not. And by the way, you get to pay for it. And if you don't want to, you're a bigot. Well, you know what this is really about. Of course, it's not about civil rights. That's a joke. It's about money and power. Their money, their power. The left has aligned with business interests that profit from cheap, obedient workers. Low-skilled immigrants have a harder time assimilating into the American mainstream. They stay poorer. They learn English more slowly. They're more likely to remain an ethnic underclass, all of which makes them much more likely to vote Democratic long term. That's the point, obviously. Skilled immigrants might assimilate and become less reliable Democratic voters. They might even compete with the children of our ruling class. That's not allowed. It's safer to import serfs, and that's exactly what they're doing. Don't let them tell you it's about civil rights. It's not. It's about their convenience and their power. Larry Elder is a radio show host in California. We're always grateful to have him on this show. Larry Elder, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
So I never thought that the left would have the huevos, the chutzpah, to make a case explicitly against merit-based immigration because everybody's for it. What exactly is the case against it?
Well, there isn't a case to be made in favor of anything other than a merit-based system, as you pointed out. Look, the UK has a merit-based system. Canada has a merit-based system. Germany has a merit-based system. We don't. And about 70% of the legal people we have every single year are here because of chain migration as opposed to because of skills. And as you pointed out, there's no question that unskilled illegal aliens put pressure on the wages of people who are unskilled here, black and brown. I like to point out to people that Cesar Chavez, the famous civil rights leader, wasn't a civil rights leader. He was a union leader. He founded the Farm Workers Union, hated illegal immigration because he knew that illegal aliens threatened the jobs of his unionists and put pressure on their wages. Democrats like Harry Reid used to denounce things like chain migration and birthright citizenship. Ted Kennedy even criticized what he called, quote, virtually endless chain migration, close quote. They've done a 180, Tucker, and they've done a 180 specifically for votes.
I mean, and your point about Cesar Chavez is absolutely right. He physically assaulted illegal aliens in the Sonoran Desert. I mean, that's how threatened he felt by the influx of low-wage labor. It crushed his bargaining power and hurt his people.
Yeah, it's a really politically incorrect thing to say, but Cesar Chavez worked with the federal government to stop illegal immigration for the precise reasons I just now mentioned.
So I don't understand where organized labor is in all of this. This kills them. Why aren't they speaking up against it?
They ought to, and so ought to blacks and browns living in the inner city whose jobs and wages are threatened by the influx of illegal aliens. This is all about votes. You can go to YouTube and you can find a video from a guy named Ilacio Medina, who was a senior VP with the SEIU union, and he said shortly after Obama got elected, if we have, quote, comprehensive immigration, catchphrase for amnesty, 2/3 of these new voters will vote for us. We'll have a governing coalition for the long haul. That is what this is all about. They've decided a calculation. We're going to throw black inner city people under the bus in exchange for a bigger growing number of minority voters, Hispanics, who are going to vote for us. It's all about power. And they used to say the same thing Trump used to say about chain migration, about merit-based migration, about porous borders, about jobs. They used to say the same thing until they realized that the votes were on that side rather than the other side. That's what's going on. Purely power, as you pointed out, Tucker.
And someday it's going to be really obvious. There are going to be a lot of really disappointed people, I would say, in the Democratic coalition.
And I think it's going to cause a lot of people who are black and brown to vote for Donald Trump. You're seeing numbers for blacks, 27% for Trump, 45% for Hispanics. And one of the reasons is because of illegal immigration. Hispanics who've done it the right way don't want it either.
Of course, because what's the message? More abortion clinics in your neighborhood and more people from the third world to compete with you? I mean, I don't understand what's in it for African Americans. I agree completely with what you just said. Larry Elder, thanks very much.
My pleasure.